Okay, let's start this off then. Hello and welcome, everyone. Just a disclaimer, apart from the one I typed in Discord, I lost all my data, which I was coding yesterday. So this will be typed as we go, I think, and I'll do my best to not confuse you with typos and bad humor and a puppy in the background. If you hear any barking noises or anything, it's just my new puppy tearing down the house while I'm here. So yeah, please do the bad jokes. Okay, cool. Maybe later. Maybe I'll be funny in a moment. Perhaps. But let's start off with what is an object. And what we see as teachers is that a lot of you are confusing objects and arrays, which is, as you can see on line 5, this is basically an object, those two brackets. Inside here, you should have some information, of course, and an object in JavaScript is a collection of information that is key value pairs. So if we want to create an object, which is very useful in JavaScript, we can use them everywhere. And as Douglas Crockford also says in JavaScript, the good parts, everything is an object, basically, besides numbers, strings, booleans, null, and undefined. So if even an array is an object in JavaScript, which is kind of confusing anyway. But let's see if we want to create an object, if we have a user or want to store some user information from anywhere, we usually have a name and yeah, first name, name. And this is then the key, and this string is the value. An object in JavaScript can hold all kinds of values, really. So we can have do something, which can be a function. And we can refer to that quite easily by dot notation, like this. So if we console log this like this, we should have something in the console. Should have. Yeah, that didn't happen, of course. What am I doing wrong here? Oh, console was spelled wrong. Let's make the computer spell it for me. User, do something. Thank you. And run code, and it should have outputted something. Yeah, that's my brain fried for this Friday. And let's do something else then. If we have a we can, yeah, first name, Okay. Are you listening in, MJ? This is just me trying to do something useful. Maybe it's my code runner that doesn't really run. Yeah, that we should have something here. Let's do it in the script then. This is for afterwards. User, no, and yay, we have a user in our console. Let's share that screen so you also can see it. Here we have the document with the live script. Can you see anything if I do something like this? Yes. This is really basic, and the point of it is to get warmed up. Even for me, I've never done stuff like this before. Talking into to an audience, yes, I've done that. Talking into a screen, no, not really. So bear with me, and let's have some fun. Okay, we have an object, and what we can do is also to check if an object is an object, which it should be. Let's console log type of user. That should be an object. So this is where it can be fun. Yeah, it's an object. I'm switching screens too fast for me to too fast for Zoom to handle it. I can try to also, if we have you can see this, right? I'm on the right screen again. Just to give you the difference between an object and an array. An array is undefined, of course, but if we have type of an array, it's an object, because everything in JavaScript is an object. So how do we check what an array is, or if anything is an array? There's a method for that, which is basically this array.isArray, and you pass in the objects you want to check if to see if it's an array, and that's true. An array is an array, and then to actually see what an array is, it's the square brackets, or yeah, whatever you want to call them. This is an array, and for both objects and both objects and arrays has a lot of built-in functions. I'm not quite done with objects just yet, but this is the prototype array, and you can see a lot of fun different methods in this console, and all of these are things you can use either to, this is the for each, which some of you might have used already. Another very much used array method is the map, and of course filter and find, basically stuff to either create HTML or find something in an array. So okay, now we have established that objects everything in JavaScript is objects, are objects. An array is an object, but with different kinds of um, built-in methods which you can use. All of these methods and stuff you can do with an array or an object is written about, and you can find information about them in the Mozilla MDN, really, Mozilla Web Development documents. A lot of good references and guides you can find at MDN. Or let's paste this in. That's basically a Bible, and you should always use the Mozilla documents rather than the W3 schools documents, even though W3 schools are popping up at the top of the search list. So, okay, other things we can do with objects. Let's say we have, we want, let's do this in the, let's do this, just copy it in, and let's, I'm just cleaning up my code as we go. I'm sorry about that. So here you can see the stuff I typed in the console, and other objects, object methods you can use is object keys, which is a very nice method, and that, hey, it pops up information about it. Thank you, VS Code. If you have, say, a kind of a list or a JSON returned with, yeah, W3 schools isn't the best, I would say. You can, of course, learn stuff from it, but yeah, it's not always up to date, and some of the things they do are kind of quirky. So use MDN, Mozilla Developer. Okay, object keys. Where did my info go? There. Yes, this method returns the names of all the keys in an object. So if we do something like, yeah, it basically, if you want to use .map on an object, that doesn't work because .map is an array function. So this would work, and an object.map will throw error. The same goes for each. For each is a pure array function. But object keys returns an array with the keys. So if we take the user, it should give us the names. Let's do, or perhaps key like this. Oh, yeah. Let's see. Let's do this and share the right screen again, like this. And here you can see the console logging console login key first name and key last name. And that can be really useful in if you have a JSON returned maybe switch from output to terminal. No, I'm usually the code runner should output in the output. Now something here is outputting. Oh, now it's it's returned an error. So the console is just no, the terminal is not the problem here. I think it's a code runner. Anyway, this outputs first name and last name as the keys. And if you want to, let's say you have a list of people or users and you want to and these are stored in a database somewhere and returned as a JSON object, and you want to loop through all the let's say name, first name, last name, age, 150. That's, I think, kind of accurate. Hobbies. What did you do yesterday? It was CSS and some HTML. Weaknesses. What did you call the colors? Wow, my brain just got fried again. Or Friday, perhaps. Well, let's just skip that. The thing now is that object keys will also loop through and give us the age and hobbies, but only the keys, as you can see here, which is nice if you want to create a tabular data. And I did create that yesterday or the day before, but that code got pooped, so I'm sorry. Oh, and I have to do this to show you these again. Yeah. I'm sorry for my unstructured blabbering. Let's do something else. Do you have you seen SpaceX, the API? I mean, this is basically the SpaceX API JSON, the history part of it. It's a nice API with a lot of data, and it can be quite hard to navigate all the different data in this API. Actually, this is not the worst. Let's see, launches. Can you hear the barking, by the way? Here it is. Oh, yeah, launches is slow. Here we have it. This is a lot of data, and let's see it in I'll show you in a minute. Here we go. Last image was of the Mozilla Firefox Developer Edition, which is kind of nice to, yeah, it displays the JSON in a good way. Chrome, not so much. At least not. It's, yeah. Can you see this at all? The reason I bring this up is that, as you can see here, it's not collapsed. Now it's collapsed, and this is an array. So okay, this is JSON. JSON is basically objects with JavaScript object notation, which is basically objects without the possibility of methods and special things like that. You can add arrays and objects and strings and numbers and booleans in a JSON object. And this can be hard to read, and this is something we see a lot as tutors. People trying to either use array methods on objects or use object notation to get into an array, but forgetting the array indexing. So an array is 0 indexed, and every item in an array has a number starting from 0 to as far as the array goes. An object does not have the numbered index for the information stored. An object has the keys and the values. So that's an important difference between objects and objects like this. This is an object, and this is an array with an object. And this, I think, is an object with an array with an object inside. So that's the reason. That's basically the heading of this webinar. And things like this can be quite tricky to navigate when you receive the data and want to do something with it. Yeah, Tom has a good point. This API has version 3 that is now obsolete, but they also have a version 4. Okay. Actually, I did not know that. Let's check. Is this working? No. The SpaceX data version 3 is an open source thing. I don't think it's officially supported by the SpaceX. But it's it's beside the point. This is an API with a lot of data that is you can go quite deep, because it starts with the one array and it has a lot of objects in that array, and to navigate into one of those objects, you then have to type you have to really look at what you are receiving and what you are trying to find. And that's the difference between the curly brackets and the square brackets. Practice makes perfect, of course. Practice to see the difference and know the difference, I would say. So if we do something like this, we can fetch. Let's do this the simple way, kind of. Right. Oh, let's do it. Response. Does this yield any results? That is no. Oh, yeah, like this. Yeah, that was. Thank you. My brain is really not working. Let's give you this screen again, and you can see the results in here. 111 results. That's quite a lot. And they have paginated it for us. That's nice. It's easier here to see what's going on though. So here's the array with 111 objects inside. The first part of the array is 0 to 99 with, yeah, the objects. The objects has crew details, flight numbers, and a lot of other keys. And inside missions ID is an array with a length of 0, so that's not interesting. Here we are, telemetry. No, that's also quite dull or null. Let's have a look at something deeper down. So if you want to do yeah, let's see, mission ID, there's the mission rockets. Okay, cool. Let's see object 28. Then we need a function, and this is kind of beside create HTML. Oh, what am I doing? What do we have here? We have a container. Cool, container. Document. We will do some other stuff in the document as well, because we have something called node array like objects, or yeah, stuff like a node list is kind of like an array, but not an array. So you can't directly use array methods on them. I'll explain it in a bit. But yeah, let's grab that, and let's grab const mission 20. Oh, that's not mission 20. That's just mission equals data, and this will be fun. Container inner. This will probably not work at all. This will result in object, which is no missions. Thank you. So Okay, where are we? What are we doing wrong? Oh, of course. Create HTML data. Oh, sorry. I did not switch. There we are. Here's my rambling. So what I'm trying to do is just misspelled. Oh, thank you. Let's make the computer spell it for me and double check if it's the right. Oh, there we go. Let's see here. That's the objects invasion. Hooray! A result. That's nice. So what you always do while developing is to console log things you want to display so you know what to look for and how to get into the right data. So now we know that the array is full of objects. That's kind of not useful at all, but let's see here. If I remember correctly, we want the number 28. So in order to find number 28, we'll go here and 28. Did this help us at all? Yes, we have now just a single object. Okay, let's do something that makes it a little bit easier to grab the right data. We will console log. Did I spell it correctly? Yes, I think so. Okay, this will or should at least console log the right kind of data. Yes, this is just the one object we are looking for. Yeah, 0 indexed. So we actually caught flight number 29, not 28, as it is pointed out in the in the chat again. But that's one step deeper into the data. If we want to grab something else, let's just run with the flight number 29, even though it's yeah. Let's see if we have a launch site. Is that interesting? I don't know. Mission patch could be nice, which if I'm not mistaken, it's links to images. What did I just click? Where did my mission patches go? Oh, that's a mission patch. Yay! So okay, that just proves the point. It's kind of hard to actually navigate JSON and deep objects within arrays within objects within arrays. So this is now the flight number 29, which has a bunch of links, and the links value is an object with article link, Flickr images, and Flickr images is an array. This all gives it's yeah. They do stuff like this to. It's a good structure actually, but it takes some practice to navigate it. So let's see if we can do links. Did that make any sense? And it did. Now this object is the links object within within the arrays, and we're on this number array number 28, flight number 29 inside links, which is an object, and then we want let's just do mission patch. That's an easy one. Should be. So now we have a link, and we are just displaying it as a string value inside the inside a div. That's not very useful, but here it is. It's a link to a mission patch. So what we can do now is, of course, do the image tag. Oh, and let's do it properly. Try to at least. Alt tags always useful. Mission patch for mission 29, and source will be mission. Yeah. Let's do it the correct way. Sorry, guys. Yay! My brain did something. Okay, now it's loading something, it says. Let's see what it loads. Let's see the error. The mission is not defined. Yes, thank you, chat. I love this chat helping me at yes, that's the correct thing. Oh, that was big. That was yeah, that's what she said. Not appropriate joke, I'm sorry. Yeah, that's the mission patch. Now we are deep within the SpaceX API, exploring all the objects within the arrays, within the objects, within the arrays. So this is a nice opportunity to actually show you an array method, which I love, which is called map.map. I used it to show you the keys and the keys in the users object or user object. Here, that's the map. A map will it's almost like a for each. It will loop through the array, but it will first copy the array. So the original array is not altered or mutilated, kind of. So if you need the original array data, it's there. But a for each loop to compare it with the .map, the for each will mutate the original array. So if you did, this is a bit of a pseudo code, but if you have an array here and do a for each, array for each, it will not be the same as, or it will destroy the array. That if we do, yeah. So if you have an array, you do a for each, and you try to re-access the array, it will be, yeah, the data will be different or altered. If you have the same but with the map, the array is the array because this copies the array before it loops through it. So that's the main difference between for each and map. And let's use this. I'll just grab some other data. Let's do the Flickr image. And I know you can't see this right now. Maybe you should, because I'm spending too much time searching for what I'm trying to find. Links, missions. There we are. Okay, let's do this. Then this doesn't make sense. So, but now missions is an array. Oh yeah, let's. I did an oopsie again. There you go. There, the missions is an object, of course. So now, oh, Dennis, you have no idea what's going on. I'm sorry. What are you? Where did you fall off? I'm trying to just give you an insight of how to read this kind of data and how to spot the difference between an array and an object. And of course, Mozilla, yeah, new to JS, that's, I remember feeling quite lost myself, especially when seeing stuff like this, when I finally got the API call to work and actually console log anything. And I tried to navigate this. So this is basically a Friday experimentation kind of exercise, trying to find what's an array and what's an object. And Mozilla Firefox Developer Edition, I would strongly recommend downloading and using that, because it gives you quite a good hint here. And if we dive deep into the flight we are trying to, oh, that's flight number 30. Here we have the links, which is an object, and we can go into the links and find the Flickr images, which is an array with 9 items. And you can click that and you can see it's 0 indexed. So it starts at 0 and ends at 8, but that's the length is 9. And also here you can access the prototype array. So the tools that the Firefox Developer Edition gives you are excellent. The reason I mentioned array prototype again is that the prototype is something every JavaScript object has. It's it's inheriting the main array object, which has this function, which I will try to show you. This function will give you the ability to do something with each item in the array. Basically, it will loop through this array, and the code I write inside the code block, which I will show you, will do the same to this item and this item, and yeah, basically every item in the list. You can, of course, also use the for each loop, which is here. And these are all functions that belongs to the array prototype, which every array is related to, kind of. And that's JavaScript in a nutshell. So let's show some images. Here we have type of missions is an array. Well, type of gives you objects, but that doesn't matter. It is an array, which we can check, as I said, with array is array, like that, and that will give you true. Yeah, I'll try to Viboa015. Could you please write your recommendations for pages and downloads, etc. in the chat? The Mozilla is, let's just paste that in real quick. The Firefox Developer Edition is just a search away. It's quite easy to find. I'll try to rewrite this and upload it to a repository that I can post in the Discord channel. So you have all the ramblings of today's exercise, if that's okay. And you can try to find the SpaceX API and navigate that yourself. The version 3 is available. You can, if it's not updated, it's not that important. The important part is that you can use it as a training platform, really. So okay, we have the missions array, which we can map over, and for each item, this is an arrow function. For those of you who haven't Paul, related to the JS1 course assignment. I can try to do that. I can actually is this something you can try to cover today? Because so you are struggling with pushing the right parameter to the query string. Is that it? And then grabbing the query string from the URL query in the details page and do the fetch with the right. Okay, the thing with query strings is kind of on the side of this this webinar, but I can you can throw me a message afterwards, and I'll give you some hints, and hopefully you'll solve it yourself. But yeah, cool. We were yeah, missions, and we will map through every item of this missions array, and if you want to, we can do this. No, that's just you will learn the arrow function. It's basically what I'm doing here is for each item I'm going to do stuff. Okay. So what I want is basically create let HTML equals empty, and let's uncomment this and copy this and HTML. Now that should be empty, and for each item I want to console log, just because I'm not sure how what it returns. The item should be just a list of it's a list of images or URLs to images. So let's do something with that. Image from a space X, and let's see if that gave us. Oh yeah. Wow, I coded this in my head before I did it. Plus plus yay. The only problem I have now is that the images are way too large, which is a CSS theme, but here they are. Ooh, nice images, rockets. And you can do the same with if there we go. If you have an API with anything really, you can just throw them into the HTML. And I think my CSS is on point today. That's a joke. Let's see. Here we are. Okay, another thing with the Firefox Developer Edition is that you can see the get and the get request from the script and status and stuff like that. If you have, if you're having trouble reaching an API or getting a result that doesn't make much sense, you might find a reason or at least a status code or something that can help you solve the problem in this the developer edition. I think the normal Firefox does that as well, but I can't remember. Anyway, that is the a lot of code. I'll clean it up. Basically, we are, to sum it up, this is diving into the data, which is an array from the SpaceX API. We are going into item number 28, which is flight number 29, we are finding the links object, which has a Flickr images array inside it. And then we use that array and loop through the array, creating image tags for each of the items and attaching them to the HTML variable, which is just a string. And then we are attaching the HTML variable to the inner HTML of the container element, which is a div, basically. So that's arrays, kind of, or objects within arrays within objects within arrays. And then we have something called that is kind of an array, but not really, which is node list. And the way you are finding a node list, kind of, if we just save, there we are, document query selector all. This gives you a node list with all, in this case, I will grab all the, what do I grab? The, yes, all the elements, the P's with this class, node list P. And let's console log this. Let's actually, just for the sake of it, comment out everything else, kind of like this, and have a look at the, here we are. This is a node list. It really looks like an array because it's 0 indexed and, oops, sorry. And it tells you what kind of element it contains. If I do this, you can see a lot of information. You can, with the DOM element P that has a class of node list __ P. And you have a lot of, maybe not a lot of, but yeah, a lot of information and some methods you can use to manipulate the HTML, like this. Inner HTML should be useful. Inner text is another one. And you can browse through all of these and find it useful when you are manipulating the UI. And lists like these, I urge you to explore, really, just to get to know them and use them while you are developing. Some of them might give you hints and tips that will save you a lot of trouble later. So what is a node list and how can we use it? As you see, if we go into the prototype, node list prototype, it will not reveal any map. It will reveal a for each, and that's nice. So we can do something with for each, or but if you want to, an example, search or use any other useful array method on the node list, you can do so by turning or using the array array from the array from method. Let me just check that. Oh yeah, there it is. It should be array from. There we go. Node lists. So if we, const array node list equals, there we go. Then we can do array is array node list, and of course console log that. I know I'm rushing a bit now, but it's true. Hooray! So that was the last line. I was console logging if the array node list array from node list was an array. If you caught my, so this is a node list, and this is an array. Basically, there's subtle differences. As I said, array methods, or at least most of the array methods, will not work on the node list, but you can turn a node list into an array by using the array from method. The reason I'm bringing this up is it has come in handy for me at least a couple of times, since I like to use map or other array methods, and it's especially useful if you are tasked to rewrite or work with old code that you are not really familiar with, or for some reason cannot alter too much because it will break things, and you have to search through HTML or a website that has node lists, or you can't select what you really want, or a list of what you want, like this, the P's. Then again, you have the for each, so you can do node lists and then use for each, the for each method, and for each P you can do stuff. For each P, console log P class name, for instance, and that will give you 10 of the classes like this. This is the console log, and you see that number is the number of times this is console logged. Right now that's not very useful, but you can use the for each to, for example, p dot inner HTML, and this for each and every other looping method should have an index, so you can add let's do this. Let's see what happens. Like that, and here we go. Oh, I forgot. Let me just add a space there. Now it's more readable. And that's how you can alter or manipulate HTML a bunch of the time, or a list of the time at a time. This is all these are just normal P elements. Let's view that. Inside the node lists wrap, I have 10 P's, P elements, paragraphs, which had originally P0, P1 up to P9, and I added is indexed at 0 and so on. Yes. Any questions? I've been rambling for an hour, I think. Hopefully, some of you got something out of it. Uh, I'll get back to you, Paul, with some tips to the query selector. And thank you. Yeah. Now I need a vacation, I think, or at least a shower and some dinner soon. I hope this was, again, I hope this was helpful for some of you. I will try to clean up the code and write some comments to actually show what I do, and try to, I will create a repository and link that in the um, Discord channel. And I'll try to find the recording of this rambling and do nothing about it except for uploading it to somewhere you can find it. All right. Thank you for listening in. Thank you for bearing with me, and have a great weekend, everyone.